Hey, what's going on? This is Hugo Opara, real estate agent and investor in the Philadelphia area. Today we're in Roxborough. We're checking out a duplex. So small residential apartment buildings are my favorite asset class. They're what I invest heavily in. And today we're just going to go through a quick little walkthrough. I'm going to point out a couple things that I like, a couple things that I don't like, all based from my professional and personal experience. All right, so let's get started. So first and foremost, the entryway. It's two doors. One of the things that I've adopted in my apartment buildings is always using smart entries for the entryway, so that it's easier for tenants to come in. A lot of times what happens, at least on the front door, is if it's raining or snowing or something like that, you want to give your tenants a way to quickly get in here. So at least for the first front door, if I have the vestibule, like what's going on here, I try to make it a smart entry, so it's really easy for them to come in. And also, in situations like this where there's a top and a second floor, a lot of times that smart door will come with a video camera, so top floor can see what's going on. Different units can see who's at the door before they come out to take a look at it. Is that necessary? No, not really, because if you're living in a building like this and you have guests, you're already expecting a guest. And then it's now 2017. You're probably going to get a text message or something saying that you're out front. So a lot of times I don't put that little camera there, but I do try to put the electronic keypad or deadbolt or whatever to let them in. So I don't know if you guys can see it. The entryway is pretty worn out. All that's here is a carpet, it's a runaway rug, and I think that's perfectly fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I think appearance is always a good thing, but I think for the entryway where you're going to get a lot of foot traffic, may not be the best thing. Another option is to tile this area. Tile this area if it's something that's going to get heavy foot traffic. You can just tile a certain area like that. So this is the first unit number 1. And I'm trying to work with YouTube. YouTube doesn't let me flip the orientation of the camera. So typically when I do this, I'll start with a front facing, do the introduction, and then there's a button I would push to rotate to use the front camera. And YouTube doesn't have that feature, so just bear with me. So this is the living room area. Designated living room area. That's the front door. It leads right into the living room area, and I think that's great. One thing I don't like, and I'll point it out because I see this in a lot of older buildings, is there's no light source. And if this was my building, I would pay the extra money to do recessed lights. I would do at least one ceiling fan, and then maybe recessed lights in the corners, because right now there aren't any. There's no light switch in here at all. Typically what I would see would be, a light switch and then maybe an outlet where you have to plug in a lamp, so that when you come into the house, you flip that switch and it'll run the current for that lamp to turn on. In this environment or in this unit, there's literally no light switch. Typically the light switch is here when you first come through the front door, easy to turn on, and in this unit there's absolutely no light switch. So that's going to be something that I would completely address, because functionally it's obsolete. Alright? So from there we go right into the kitchen. From the living room we go right into the kitchen. And the kitchen is a decent space. This is a 1-bedroom, it's a decent space. You have the fridge right there. And then you have, kitchen that looks really nice. It's not granite countertops, but the backsplash kind of makes up for it. It's a decent looking kitchen. So there's not much countertop space. Is one thing that sometimes I try to provide, and sometimes you can't due to the limitations of the unit. I think they did the best of what they have here. One thing that I am starting to get rid of, or I have gotten rid of, is I no longer have the spray nozzles in my units. It's just another thing to go wrong, so I've removed the spray nozzles. And what I've done is I've updated all my units to have, to have the deep sink basins, and I make sure that they're 30 inches wide. 30 inches is going to be maybe about the length of this stove, but I try to make them I try to get the bigger, more industrial, deeper looking sinks. They cost me about $150 to $250, but it just gets a much better finish, and they're just friendlier, because something like this, once you throw like one pot in like a dish or something like that, it starts to look very, very clustered. And a lot of tenants like to soak their stuff if they're not able to get to it overnight. So it's just a personal preference, and something that I've seen in flips, and that it's easy for me to implement in rentals to just have a better looking unit. You know what I mean? But big ups to this property, because they did a really good backsplash. A lot of times you don't have to do everything high end. This is expensive. This Formica countertop is not, nor is this sink base and faucet, but I think they made up very nicely for it by adding this. Another thing that I would do another thing that I want to point out is none of the cabinets have doorknobs, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but what's going to happen is over time you're going to see stains here from people constantly grabbing it. So always put doorknobs. That way it's just easier for them to grab it and take it from there. And I now do soft close on all my stuff, just to prevent tenants from slamming it and things of that nature. So I do soft close, and I will get the handles, and that's it. Gas is always king. I always try to get gas appliances when possible. Hood range, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I think what I want to do, I think this was a smart idea, simply because there's not enough countertop space to really put a microwave there. So this was a great idea. Big fan of that. And there is space over here for a little table, which is cool. There is space here for a little table. If they want to have like a little kitchenette, like a little eating area. Also, this would be great for like a floating table or whatever, like a little portable food carts or something like that, to add as additional countertop space. So that's decent. So let's keep going. Over here is a closet. It looks like there's no lighting here for me to show that, so we're gonna skip that. I'm sorry. So in here we have the bathroom. You have the bathtub, pretty standard. This is a clip-on. I hate this stuff. I really hate this stuff. I would have ripped this all out just because I don't like the buildup of mold in the background, and I would have just tiled this all the way up to the ceiling. Tile is waterproof. You don't have any problems with it. You don't have to come back and touch it ever again unless something drastic happens. So I would rip all this little plastic stuff out and tile it all the way up to the ceiling. A lot of people make a big mistake and waste a lot of money, because they'll come in and they'll tile the bathroom, and then they'll run that tile to all the way here, and they'll just keep going and going and going, and it looks great. But functionality wise, you're not adding to the bathroom. It's really a waste of money. I think most bathrooms look best when you just have the bathtub area tiled, because it serves a functionality, and then you just have really nice paint, no patches, no anything that's going to come off just as well as if you decided to tile it. But it'll be a lot cheaper. So the toilet there, storage up top, which is always good. The floor isn't tiled. I usually like the sticky tiles. I have no qualms against the sticky tiles as long as it's done right, and this one's done right. It's in good condition, so no red flags there. And again, big ups to these guys here, because they added a little bit of flair to the bathroom. This plus the mirror over there. You have a very tiny vanity. This has to be maybe, I don't even know what this is, a 24-inch. I would rip this out and try and get something where you have the storage underneath, or just try to get something just a little bit prettier, something that has like oak cabinets that kind of match the dark tile. This this has to go. But you know what I mean. I think they did a really good job by just adding this little wall here, because the bathroom does need some cosmetics, but this kind of gives it life. It makes a tenant think, okay, this is doable. You know what I mean? So I really like that they added this little splash of detail there. So real quick, one thing I want to point out is, so we're heading into the bedroom, and one of the things that I already don't like is you have the switch for the bedroom is on the outside. So, for numerous reasons, you don't want that to happen. I would definitely pay whatever the fee is to have that moved and rewired to be put here, so that when you're actually in the bedroom, you have control of the lights. Really not a big fan of that. So that is no bueno. But anyways, you have a decent sized room. Let me see if I can show it properly. A decent sized room, and the location is great. You know what I mean? It's all the way in the back. You have your living room on the other side, then you have your kitchen, you have your bathroom, and then you have your bedroom here, which I think is great. This is kind of creepy, but this is what you're going to see a lot of when you, at least in Philadelphia, when you have the buildings that were converted to apartments. They weren't really built originally as apartments. So we're in a bedroom, and I reach into a door that I thought was a closet, and it's not a closet. It's actually takes you down to the basement, which we're not going to go down because there's nothing for me to lecture on. But so yes, this is the bedroom. And, for the most part, I don't really have anything to say, except that there's no closet and that you have the basement right there. So these are obstacles that, a tenant has to feel like they can overcome. If not, then, But what always overcomes objections is just decent pricing. Good pricing always overcomes a lot of these objections. Another weird thing I want to point out about this unit is that there is this doorway that leads out to what looks like a patio, a back patio. I don't know if you guys can see it. And that door doesn't look like it's in too good shape. I don't know if you guys can see the door, see the bottom of that door, where the light is coming in at. Right away, what I would do is, because that's an entry door, I would completely rip that door out, maybe redo the entire frame, and add a super solid steel entry door. And I would put as many locks on it as possible, just to, create that, sense of security for whoever's going to occupy this unit, because this looks like it's the backyard, and there's an entryway here. So, mentally, you think if someone's going to break in, they can break in through the back, come in here, and they're right to the bedroom when someone's sleeping. But so by removing that and putting something that looks a hell of a lot more secure than what's going on here, I'm able to, put at ease the tenant's mind. What I would also do is motion detected lights back there. And when I'm showing the property, just give that tenant a walkthrough of that area so they're familiar with it and kind of taking it from there. So that's pretty much it. In fact, I think what I would do personally is I might just frame all of this out as storage. Frame it out into a closet. I doubt that that's going to be used for anything else. So I think what I would do is I'd actually turn this into a door that, when the tenant opens it, it actually just walks into a closet. So that way I can just drywall everything up, make it look pretty, and just keep it rolling. So that's probably what I would do. That's probably the most feasible and functional thing. except now you just have this as, I don't know, because now this just becomes a mirror that looks into nothing. You know what I mean? So I have to think about that. Not too sure. So hopefully this was helpful. There's a couple of things that I would come in here and do in getting it ready to be rented out. And then keep in mind that this place has already been rented for several years in the condition that it is now. So it's not something that's completely in disarray. Tenants have been here before, tenants have stayed, leases have been signed, money has been exchanged. So in the condition it is now, it still works. It's priced. If it's priced right, you're gonna find yourself a tenant, and you just rock out that way. So once again, my name is Ugo Apara. I'm gonna be cutting the video off. Any questions? Please feel free to reach out to me. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and share. And that's it. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.